Hello students, welcome back to my next video which is on the Constitution of India. Today in this topic we will discuss about the Constitution of India, our fundamental rights and duties, and lastly about what is directive principle. So let's start our topic with discussing Constitution of India. Each individual on earth wants to live their life peacefully. So, in order to maintain harmonious relationship and peace in the society, we have to follow certain rules and regulations. Indian Constitution is such a rule book where the rights and duties for an Indian citizen are stated. When we speak about Indian Constitution, how can we miss Dr. B.R. Ambedkar? On 29th August 1947, he was appointed as chairman of the Constitution Drafting Committee. The Constituent Assembly appointed him to prepare India's new constitution. The final draft of the constitution was ready as passed on 26 November 1949. Since 2015, 26 November is observed as the Constitution Day. On 24 January 1950, 284 members of the Constituent Assembly signed the Indian Constitution at the Constitution Hall, which is now known as the Central Hall of Parliament based at New Delhi. The Constitution came into effect on 26 January 1950 and the date was chosen to commemorate the declaration of Purna Swaraj. The original copies of the Indian Constitution were written in English and Hindi, and it is the longest handwritten constitution in the world. Currently, it has a preamble, 22 parts with 448 articles, 12 schedules, 5 appendices, and 115 amendments. The Indian Constitution was written by Prem Bihari Naren Raisada in a flowing italic style with beautiful calligraphy. Both the versions, Hindi and English, were handwritten. Each page of the Constitution was uniquely decorated by artists from Shantiniketan, including Biohar Ram Manohar Sinha and Nandalal Bose. The Constitution was published in Dehradun and photolithographed by the Survey of India. The original copies of Indian Constitution are kept in special helium-filled cases in the Library of the Parliament of India. The preamble in the Indian Constitution acts as an introduction. It declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and a welfare state committed to secure justice, liberty and equality for the people and for promoting fraternity, dignity of the individual, also unity and integrity of the nation. The national emblem was adopted on 26 January 1950 when India declared a republic with its constitution coming into effect. Every year on 26 January we celebrate Republic Day. The Constitution of India allows every citizen who has attained the age of 18 to cast his or her vote. India follows the rule of universal adult franchise. In this system of voting, the citizens of India have the right to vote without any discrimination based on caste, religion, color, or gender. The party that gets the majority votes of the citizens forms the government. Next, I will discuss about fundamental rights. The fundamental rights are the basic human rights of all citizens, which is defined in Part 3 of the Constitution. 7 fundamental rights were originally provided by the Constitution. However, the right to property was removed by the 44th Amendment in 1978. Let's discuss all 6 rights one by one, starting with right to equality. This right guarantees equal rights for everyone, irrespective of religion, gender, caste, race, or place of birth. It ensures equal employment opportunities in the government and ensures against discrimination by the state in matters of employment on the basis of caste, religion, etc. This right also includes the abolition of titles as well as untouchability. Second is right to freedom. It is one of the most important ideals cherished by any democratic society. The Indian Constitution guarantees freedom to citizens such as freedom of speech, expression, assemble without arms, association, practicing any profession, and to reside in any part of the country. Some of these rights are subject to certain conditions, and the state has the right to impose reasonable restrictions on them. Thirdly, rights against exploitation. It implies the prohibition of traffic in human beings, beggar, and other forms of forced labor. It also implies the prohibition of children in factories, etc. The Constitution prohibits the employment of children under 14 years in hazardous conditions. Fourth is right to freedom of religion. This indicates the secular nature of Indian polity. There is equal respect given to all religions. There is freedom of conscience, profession, practice, and propagation of religion. The state has no official religion. Every person has the right to freely practice his or her faith, establish and maintain religious and charitable institutions. Fifth right is cultural and educational rights. This protects the rights of religious, cultural, and linguistic minorities by facilitating them to preserve their heritage and culture. Educational rights are for ensuring education for everyone without any discrimination. Lastly, right to constitutional remedies. The Constitution guarantees remedies if citizens' fundamental rights are violated. The government cannot infringe upon or curb anyone's rights. When these rights are violated, the aggrieved party can approach the courts. Citizens can even go directly to the Supreme Court, which can issue writs for enforcing fundamental rights. Coming on to the fundamental duties which were added to the Constitution by the 42nd Amendment in 1976. Originally it was 10 in number, but this was increased to 11 by the 86th Amendment in 2002. The fundamental duties of every citizen of India are as follows: to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem, to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India, to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so, to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, and regional or sectional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, to protect and improve the natural environments including forests, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures, to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform, to safeguard public property and to abjure violence, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. Who is a parent or guardian to provide opportunities for education to his child, or as the case may be, born between the age of 6 to 14 years. Next, directive principles, the last content of this video. The directive principles of state policy of India are the guidelines or 15 principles given to the federal institutes governing the states of India to be kept in citation while framing laws and policies. It is embodied in Part 4 of the Constitution. Directive principles are classified under the following categories: economic and socialistic, political and administrative, justice and legal, environmental, protection of monuments, and the last one, peace and security. Thank you for your time and patience. Take care and be safe.